Borders Sporting Goods, family owned and operated for over 40 years, is the one-stop shop for all your fishing needs. Borders has the largest selection in the tri-state from all the major brands like Shimano, G. Loomis, Abu Garcia, Blue Rock Custom Tackle, Rapala, Netbait, Strike King, and more. Let the experts at Borders help you find the perfect fishing gear for your next adventure. Borders Sporting Goods, 5876 U.S. Route 60, Ashland, Kentucky, and online at bordersportinggoods.com.
Waters of the wild and wonderful, the bluegrass and beyond. It's Hook, Line, and Sinker. Brought to you by Borders Sporting Goods. Let Borders help you get outdoors. Now, here's your host, Cam Connors.
Good Saturday morning. Welcome to another episode with Hook, Line, and Sinker. I'm your host, Cam Connors. On the show today, we're going to get to know the state's youngest master angler. His name's Carson Shock. He's also a bit of an entrepreneur. Plus, we're going to be talking musky fishing with guide Chase Gibson of Gibson's Guide Service. And we'll round out the show with Aaron Finney of the Mountain State Kayak Anglers. Of course, before we get into all of that today, we got to take a look at the weekend's weather and water conditions for around the region. As always, we'll start off with the Coal River right here in St. Albans, hovering in the low to mid-60s. It seems the cooler weather throughout the week, the rain, kind of kept it at 64 and below, between 60 and 64 for most of this past week. Moving east to the Elk, where it runs into the canal there at Charleston, on the warmer side. Saw a bit of a spike earlier this week, hitting 68 degrees on Tuesday, but it's cooled back off to about 64, 65 now. And then over to the west, our friends in Kentucky on the Little Sandy River, rather. It's been on the downward trend throughout the week. It seems kind of leveled off between 61 and 62 degrees over the last couple of days. And for the mighty Ohio, holding steady in the mid-60s, 65, 66 degrees throughout the last week. As for the weather today and tomorrow, we're looking at a slight break from the rain today. Partly cloudy skies, though a shower here and there still possible. High today of 74 and a little windy, 10 to 20 miles per hour. Tonight, an early shower possible, but skies clearing through the nighttime and a low of 47. Tomorrow, expecting mixed skies with a high of 75 and a little less windy. Expected only be winds about 5 to 10 miles per hour tomorrow. Take a look at some of the recent fish stockings. Barbersville Lake this past week saw some channel cat added to it. And late last week, both Sutton and Stonewall Jackson tailwaters got another trout stocking. So be sure to check those out. And remember, the statewide stockings updated daily at wvdnr.gov. Happening this weekend, today in fact, the second annual Appalachian Fly Fishing Festival up in Thomas, West Virginia. It's free to attend, and if you're into fly fishing of any kind, if you're just beginning, if you're a seasoned fly fisherman, it's something you definitely want to go check out. In fact, I'm going to be headed up there tomorrow morning to go have some fun with the event as well. Some tournaments going on this weekend as well. Tonight, it's the Summersville Invitational launching from the Battle Run ramp. And again, the full list of tournaments, you can find that now at wvdnr.gov as well. When we come back, the state's youngest fisherman to earn the title of Master Angler. It's Hook, Line, and Sinker on the job. Borders Sporting Goods, family owned and operated for over 40 years, has the Tri-State's largest fishing selection as well as a great archery department with bows, arrows, and more. From the kids that shoot for their school teams to what mom and dad will need for their next hunting adventure, Borders carries major brands like Hoyt, Matthews, 10 Point, and Raven. Come shoot your next bow at Borders Sporting Goods, 5876 U.S. Route 60, Ashland, Kentucky, and online at bordersportinggoods.com.
Chris Domine is a husband, father, an athlete, even an Ironman. But 10 years ago, Chris's kidneys were failing.
The doctor said if you don't get a kidney transplant, you are going to die.
Chris received a second chance, made possible by an organ donor.
Your well-being changes from loss of hope to better times ahead.
What could you make possible as an organ, eye, and tissue donor? Leave behind the gift of life. Go to organdonor.gov. U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Health Resources and Services Administration.
The following is made possible by Dad.
Why was the basketball court all wet? Because the players kept dribbling all over it.
The dad joke. Corny, groan-worthy, but also one of the simplest ways to share a moment with your kids.
Why do you have to be careful when it's raining cats and dogs? Because you might step in a poodle.
And kids that spend more time with their dads grow up to be smarter, more successful.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding.
And with any luck, funnier adults.
Why didn't the skeleton go to the dance? Because he didn't have anybody to go with.
Dad jokes rule. So take a moment to make a moment and give your kid a laugh. It's as easy as going to fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
That's really funny.
When I grow up, I want to be a doctor. I want to be a veterinarian. When I grow up, I want to be a fireman.
I want to be a scientist so I can connect like other teams and build other teams.
I want to be an astronaut so I can float up space.
When I grow up, I want to be a dancer.
I want to be a superhero, but if that doesn't work out, I will be an engineer.
When I grow up, I want to be a chef because I like ice cream.
I want to be a basketball player.
I want to be a jet pilot so I can take people to really fun places.
I want to be a drug addict.
Get to your kids before drugs do. Arm yourself with the facts. Get your free The Truth About Drugs booklet set today. Go to drugfreeworld.org.
When your car is making a strange noise, no matter what it is, you can't just pretend it's not happening.
That's an interesting sound.
It's like your mental health. If you're struggling and feeling overwhelmed, it's important to do something about it. It can be as simple as talking to someone in your community, or just taking a deep, calming breath when you need it. Nice. For mental health resources, check out loveyourmindtoday.org. At loveyourmindtoday.org, you'll find information that may help you get through a tough time. Things like tips for dealing with stress, how to navigate difficulties like financial worries, anger, substance use, and more. You can also find real stories of how people navigated their own mental health challenges. Because once you start to address the problem, you can go so much further. Visit loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
Fishtails, we've got them. Now back to Hook, Line, and Sinker on the Jock.
Today's show brought to you by Borders Sporting Goods, your home for Liberty Safes. Find them on US 60 in Ashland, Kentucky. They're your one-stop shop for all your hunting and fishing needs. Let Borders help you get outdoors. Find them online, borderssportinggoods.com. As you may know, I like to feature guests in the fishing community from around the state every episode. And last week, I talked with Tyler Waldo of the Appalachian Fly Fishing Festival. It's actually going on this weekend up in Thomas, West Virginia. I'm going to try to make it up there tomorrow for the tail end of it. But Tyler has been great, and we've been talking a ton off air too. Part of that, him giving me names of folks that I should reach out to for the show. One of the names he gave me, Carson Shock. At just 15 years old, he's been named West Virginia's youngest master angler, and he started his own business as well, Lefty's Fish Flies. Carson, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic, man. Again, thanks for taking the time to talk to me today. Tell me a little about yourself.
I'm 15 years old, and I've always loved fishing and hunting, but this past year I started fly fishing. And I got me a fly vise for Christmas about a year and a half ago. And I started tying flies, and probably 8 months in, me and my dad were talking, thinking that I could sell them when I started getting better at it. And so here we are.
So you're still, I mean, not only are you young, you're young in the fly fishing world too. You're not a whole lot further along. I just picked up fly fishing myself here just within the last couple of months. I'm a real big fan of Field and Stream magazine, and of course they got tons of articles. And I fell down the rabbit hole reading those articles, and my wife got me a fly rod for Christmas, and I've been all down it ever since. So let's talk a little more about you. What would you say is your favorite fish species to target? Are you a bass guy? Are you a crappie guy? What do you like to go after?
I really like largemouth and smallmouth, but if I had to pick, probably trout and musky.
Okay. Now, this is something I've been kind of wondering, because you were named the state's youngest master angler.
Yes, sir.
Did you catch all of those fish for the requirement? Did you catch all those on a fly rod?
No, I caught 7 of them.
Okay. So what all does it take to become a master angler in the state? Because it is quite an accomplishment, but a lot of people may not know everything that goes into it.
So there's 6 slams, and they call a slam like you have your panfish slam, which would be all the species of panfish.
Right.
Then your black bass slam, which is all the species of bass. And then the predator slam, which would be a walleye, a musky, and a hybrid. And then you have your catfish slam, which is all catfish. Non-game, which is a fall fish and a bullhead and a carp, buffalo carp, or a common carp. Sorry. And then you have your trout slam, and then I think that's pretty much it. So you have, for each slam, you have a year, like at 1 calendar year. Now you have the whole thing to do. You have your whole life to do the whole thing, though. It takes a lot of money, though, for like hotels and gas, but it's awesome. I really recommend it to other anglers.
Right, because you're going to have to travel all over the state in order to catch all of the required fish to meet that.
Yeah, that's why I think that's the awesome thing about it, because you can see so many new parts of the state and meet new people, and it's awesome.
And you said that each slam has to be completed within the same calendar year, but you could do the slams over more than 1 year, all throughout your life. How long have you been working towards it?
I did the whole thing in about 2 years.
Okay, so pretty quick, not too bad. And of course, you said that you got into the fly fishing world, that you got interested in it, and you started tying flies. You said about 8 months
sir.
now. What kind are you making? Are you making just nymphs? Are you making mayflies, grasshoppers, everything? What are you making?
So I like trout flies, but I'm really into tying musky flies and like smallmouth and bass stuff. But I also tie like woolly boogers, some like small beetles, and some crappie jigs. I do tie crappie jigs, but I can pretty much tie about anything.
See, I love when people say that they're tying musky flies, because those things are just so huge that they're more like birds to me. I've said it several times on the show.
Yeah.
They're so huge. But that's really cool. Do you have something that you consider like your signature fly that you're making?
So I have this little beetle. It's got like the sparkle dubbing, which would go, but with a size 14 hook. And then I do some small hackle for dry fly hackle, and then some black foam wrapped over top of it. I love it. It looks like a great beetle.
You had a lot of success on it?
Well, it's a newer fly, but we're going to try it this weekend right before the show.
Okay, awesome. So are you going to be up at the fly fishing festival this weekend, or what's your plan on that?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Well, maybe I'll get a chance to meet you up there.
Yeah. I'll have a booth there, too.
Oh, yeah, I'll definitely have to stop by. I'm going to be there on Sunday, so yeah. Anyways, back to Lefty's fish flies. Where does the name Lefty's come from?
So, I think a lot of people think like Lefty Cray, but it's actually because me and my dad were just joking because I'm left-handed.
Yeah.
So we call it Lefty fish flies.
Okay, because you probably cast left-handed then, being with fly.
Yes, sir.
Which is backwards from what most people do. So I can see that.
Yeah.
That's very clever. I like it.
Yeah. I have another signature fly. It's a musky fly. People call it like a single Buford or a double Buford, but the signature is the collar. So I do it's like a yellow, an orange, and a black, which would be like a fire tiger almost. But but I had some different sparkles, and it just looks real good in the water. I might just call it fire tiger. I can't remember.
Okay. Well, so if folks are interested in buying some of your flies, I know you've got a Facebook page set up. Is that going to be the best way to get a hold of you to buy them?
Yeah, or just message me on Facebook. Yeah.
You have started this little business now. What's your plans for the future with it? Is it something you really want to grow and make into a career, or what are you looking at doing with it?
That would be awesome, but it just depends on how far we're able to go with it. I'm hoping we can, though.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to talk today, and hopefully I'll get a chance to meet you this weekend.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too.
A big thanks again to Carson for talking today. West Virginia's youngest master angler and an entrepreneur starting his own little business, tying flies. Still to come this hour. Up next, we're going to talk about Musky with another young man, though not as young as Carson. Chase Gibson, owner of Gibson's Guide Service, on the phone next with Hook, Line, and Sinker on The Jock. Border Sporting Goods is your one-stop outdoor sporting goods store. Family owned and operated for over 40 years. Borders is the Tri-State's #1 outlet for Liberty Safes. Proudly made in the USA with a lifetime warranty. A Liberty Safe will protect what's most important to you from theft or fire. Online at bordersportinggoods.com or find them on Facebook and Instagram at Border Sporting Goods. Border Sporting Goods, 5876 U.S. Route 60, Ashland, Kentucky.
In the tapestry of life, we encounter stories of legacy and accomplishment, but sometimes also abuse, neglect, or financial exploitation. Adult Protective Services understands the importance of safeguarding the well-being of our loved ones, our neighbors, and our community. To report neglect or abuse, call 800-352-6513. Sponsored by the Administration for Community Living, West Virginia Department of Health and Human Resources, Bureau for Social Services, the West Virginia Broadcasters Association, and this station. This project was supported by the Administration for Community Living, ACL, and the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, HHS, as part of a financial assistance award totaling $383,493, with 75% funded by ACL, HHS, and 25% in the amount of $85,236 funded by state government sources. The contents are those of the authors and do not necessarily represent the official views of, nor an endorsement by, ACL, HHS, or the U.S. government.
When I grow up, I want to be a doctor. I want to be a veterinarian. When I grow up, I want to be a fireman.
I want to be a scientist so I can connect like other things and build other things.
I want to be an astronaut so I can float up space. When I grow up, I want to be a dancer. I want to be a superhero, but if that doesn't work out, I will be an engineer.
When I grow up, I want to be a chef because I like ice cream.
I want to be a basketball player.
I want to be a jet pilot so I can take people to really fun places.
I want to be a drug addict.
Get to your kids before drugs do. Arm yourself with the facts. Get your free The Truth About Drugs booklet set today. Go to drugfreeworld.org.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
When your car is making a strange noise, no matter what it is, you can't just pretend it's not happening.
That's an interesting sound.
It's like your mental health. If you're struggling and feeling overwhelmed, it's important to do something about it. It can be as simple as talking to someone in your community, or just taking a deep, calming breath when you need it. Nice. For mental health resources, check out loveyourmindtoday.org. At loveyourmindtoday.org, you'll find information that may help you get through a tough time. Things like tips for dealing with stress, how to navigate difficulties like financial worries, anger, substance use, and more. You can also find real stories of how people navigated their own mental health challenges. Because once you start to address the problem, you can go so much further. Visit loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
Reels are streaming. Lines are tight. We're back for Hook, Line, and Sinker on The Jock.
Now, as you may know, I like to feature Appalachian-based gear makers, lure makers, guides, outfitters from all over, West Virginia especially. And today I'm talking with Chase Gibson, the owner of Gibson's Guide Service. Chase, thank you first of all for taking the time to be on the show today.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for having me, Cam.
Sure. So let's get right into it, man. Tell me a little about yourself and how you got started in the guiding business.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the younger side for the majority of the guides that I know of, especially across the country. I'm 23 years old. I've been guiding since I was 18 years old, so pretty much straight out of high school. I think I had about a year out of high school, and I just worked some construction jobs for my cousin, basically mainly just to save up to buy a boat big enough so I could start guiding. Guiding was always the goal for me in life, and that's what I'm doing as of now.
And see, I think that's pretty cool. I think that's pretty cool because a lot of the guys I talk to, you know, they kind of stumbled into it. It started out as a hobby and friends, and then they, you know, kind of, like I said, stumbled into it. But you're different. You set out from the get-go, you know, from high school on. You had the goal of doing this, which I think is really cool.
Yeah. I got into musky fishing when I was like, I think 10 or 11 years old, and I have been absolutely hooked since. And I knew that is something that I want to do every day of my life, and the first thing that came to mind was guiding. So I did everything in my possible power to prepare myself to do that.
And when you do musky fishing, you're doing traditional. You're not doing fly fishing, because I've talked to several guys who are fishing for musky on fly outfit, but that's not you, is it?
I'm mainly gear fishing, so mainly just your bait casting stuff. I have guided a couple fly fishermen. I've done it myself. I do it probably 2 or 3 times a year.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say that I specialize in it, but if someone wants to book a trip with me and is like, hey, I want to catch one on a fly, there's definitely a great opportunity to do that through me as well.
Okay.
But I'm definitely not only a fly fishing guide, that's for sure. I'm mainly gear fishing, but I've definitely had my fair share of some fly fishermen that came and we've targeted them with flies.
Okay, and musky is your primary species, your primary target.
Yeah.
Gotcha. You're not doing like, you know, big bass or crappie guiding. You're strictly just musky.
Yeah, no, I'm strictly musky. I could do the bass and the crappies, and I've had guys ask, but to be honest, I'm busy with the musky stuff, so I just rather stick with that. And that's my passion. I love the big toothy critters.
I got you.
I stick with the muskies.
Well, and West Virginia, West Virginia has a growing muskie population. I believe the DNR's actually got a hatchery program for it, so it's something that they're growing in the state, and it's honestly a side of the sport that's really exploding over the last couple of years. I talked with some guys up towards Morgantown who do the fly fishing guide service for muskie, and so it's muskie fishing across the state has really blowing up over the last couple of years.
Yeah, I would say honestly, probably 7 to 10 years ago, there was a huge boom of muskie fishermen. It was quite large, so it seemed like everybody was getting into muskie fishing. When you go to Stonewall on the weekend, there'd be 5 to 10 boats over there muskie fishing every weekend, both days. And I think what kind of died down a little bit, and I do think I'm seeing more new guys getting into it here in the last year or so. So it's just one of those things that I've noticed that it just goes up and goes down and goes up and goes down. It's kind of silly because muskie fishing is not a cheap thing to get into, and it's not an easy fish to catch. So there's a lot of time and money put into it to catch one.
Right.
So a lot of people see pictures of big muskies and they want to do it, and they buy all the stuff and then they go do it, and then they realize, you know, this isn't like catching a crappie or a bass, and a lot of guys get right out of it instantly. But there's a few handful of us that are crazy enough to stick with it.
Right. Well, it's called the fish of 10,000 casts for a reason.
Yeah.
So you guide here in West Virginia, but you also do some stuff in Ohio and Minnesota as well. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
So where at?
Yes. So our water temps here in West Virginia, they'll start to get too warm. So about when the water temp's getting at like 78 plus, I quit targeting them because it can be deadly to the fish. They do not do well in hot water.
Mm-hmm.
So I highly recommend anyone listening, if you do get into muskies, if your water temperature is 78 plus, I highly recommend not targeting them, because if you do catch one, then there's a good chance of it passing away. So what I do to extend my season, because we get pretty hot in the summertime, right? Well, I go to Ohio and guide a little bit in June. And then once I'm done there, I usually do a week to 2 weeks a year. I leave Ohio and I go to Minnesota, and I stay at Minnesota till about end of November is what I've been doing. And then I come back home and I'm back here. So that allows me to guide 10 to 12, really about 12 months a year. 10 really busy months, 2 months of kind of just trips here and there, and that's usually January, February. But I'm basically full-time every day as I can from March to the end of December.
And if folks would like to set up a guiding with you, what's going to be the best way for them to get in touch with you?
Best way would probably be call or text me. I'd highly recommend texting me because where I'm mainly guiding is at Stonewall, and there's very, very little service. And sometimes people call me and it won't even come through, and I won't even know that they called me. So I would highly recommend texting me. My cell phone number is 304-816-6607.
And now, am I right? You co-host a TV series called 10,000 Casts as well.
I do. Yeah.
Tell me a little about that.
So there's a Musky Mayhem Tackle is a large lure manufacturer of musky lures, and he has a podcast. His name's Brad Hoppy. I did a podcast with him in July of 2021. And he actually invited me to go to Minnesota and stay at his house and fish with him. Well, I did that, and turns out he's working on a TV show. And he really liked me, so he decided that it was going to be our show. And that's kind of a quick way to explain all that. So he wanted to work a TV show, so we started together, and he's the host. I'm the co-host. I think this will be our 5th season. We are on YouTube, and as well as Roku devices. We actually just had to switch networks, and I believe I'm blanking on the network that we're switching to this year. We were on KOTV, but that is no longer a thing. So we've been messaging back and forth with 2 other networks, and I'm not sure which one's fully in. But the easiest place to watch it is YouTube.
Okay. And what's the format of the show? Are you guys out fishing? Are you sitting in a studio talking? What's the?
No, it's all fishing. It's us going out. Catching fish, explaining why we're fishing, where we're fishing, why we caught the fish that we caught. We try to be very entertaining as far as numbers, because most musky shows out there, honestly, don't usually have a ton of fish caught because they're not that easy to catch.
Right.
One thing that we did is the first year that we did it, we tried to do a minimum of 5 fish per episode.
Oh, wow, yeah.
And we try to do that. We don't always get that, but we do come close. We don't have any episodes with no fish. I would say our minimum of fish is probably 3 per episode, but our goal is always 5. We've got a couple that are more, a couple that are less. But we really try to teach the viewer why we caught that fish, why we're doing what we're doing. We're trying to be very educational as well as very entertaining with having lots of fish.
That's awesome.
Which makes it very challenging to film sometimes, but
I bet.
We get it done.
So if someone's new to the musky fishing game, like for myself, I'm actually pretty new to it. I'm yet to actually catch one. So this will be a good show to watch and learn and get some pointers and advice on, where they're going to be, lure selection, and things like that.
Yes. And one thing really cool about it is Brad is from Minnesota, so there's a lot of, if you get on YouTube or whatever and you look up musky fishing, the majority of the stuff that you're going to see is from up north. And a lot of that stuff really does not play at all down here. It's completely different. So what's good is we try to do at least 1 to 2, maybe 3 shoots a year that are southern fisheries, southern reservoirs. And that's like on Stonewall. We filmed on Stonewall. We filmed in Ohio, Tennessee, all over the place. So you'll get a lot better stuff that's more relatable if you're local to West Virginia. Okay. On the show.
Well, can you give me like a difference between like a northern, give me just one example of fishing up north and between fishing, say, at Stonewall?
Yes. Stonewall, there's lots of standing timber there. So you're fishing trees that are underwater that weren't supposed to be there.
Yeah.
They're man-made lakes, so they're flooding the lake and they're flooding timber. 90% of the fisheries up north in Minnesota are all natural lakes. There's no dams, no nothing. So there is no timber in it. So it's mainly just weed bed fishing. You got weeds, you got rocks, you got sand. But here in Stonewall, we just have a lot more just timber.
Right, so your structure is going to be different.
Yeah, your structure is different. The water clarity is different. The water clarity up there is extremely clear. I mean, I've been up there and you can see bottom in 23, 24 feet of water post turnover. It's pretty insane.
That's wild.
It's very, very, very clear water. And most bodies up there, especially the ones that I'm fishing, there's no shad, so there's a whole different bait fish up there. It's walleyes, perch, ciscos, whitefish. It's like I remember when I first went up there, I explained it to my friends back home that it's like fishing Mars compared to here. like Stonewall's Earth and Minnesota's Mars.
So
like
it's a completely different world.
Completely different. Yeah, completely different.
Wow.
Fish act different. Just a whole different ball game.
Huh. That's interesting.
Very fun ball game. Fun ball game.
I'm sure. Well, that's part of what makes it fun is the challenge of it, but at different places. I mean, even here around home, fishing in Beach Fork is not going to be the same as as fishing in Stonewall or Sutton or wherever else throughout the state. So, real quick before we get out of here, if you had to give just one piece of advice to someone looking to land their first muskie, what would that be?
Number one, you got to have the release tools. Muskies are not something that you want to go grabbing on, or you've got to have good release tools, a good net, a good pair of bolt cutters, and a good pair of needle nose, and then you can worry about actually catching one.
Gotcha. Safety first.
Safety first. But as far as actually catching one, try to do some research of where you have heard of a lot of muskies caught and target those areas on certain times of year, like river fishing. Dams are always a good place. There's always fish at dams.
Mm-hmm.
Just stuff like that, or give me a call and jump in the boat with me.
Of course. And again, the best way you said to get a hold of you, Gibson's Guide Service, was to give you a call, or better yet, give you a text. You want to give your number again?
Yep, 304-816-6607. And you can also find me on social media, just Chase Gibson Fishing, or just Chase Gibson on Facebook.
Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to talk today.
No problem.
And a big thank you once again to Chase for taking the time to talk today. Coming up, if you have a kayak and you enjoy fishing, well, there's a club right here in West Virginia that you might want to be a part of. I'm going to talk with one of the officers of the Mountain State Kayak Anglers Club, Aaron Finney, up next, right here on Hook, Line, and Sinker on The Jock. Borders Sporting Goods, family owned and operated for over 40 years, is the one-stop shop for all your fishing needs. Borders has the largest selection in the tri-state from all the major brands like Shimano, G. Loomis, Abu Garcia, Blue Rock Custom Tackle, Rapala, Netbait, Strike King, and more. Let the experts at Borders help you find the perfect fishing gear for your next adventure. Borders Sporting Goods, 5876 U.S. Route 60, Ashland, Kentucky, and online at bordersportinggoods.com.
From the local 2U studio, connecting West Virginia, this is the Valley Sports Station, 105.5 and 98.3 FM, 1300 and 1340 AM. The Jock.
For a lot of us, saving up a down payment can be the biggest barrier to buying a home. So Rocket Mortgage is lowering down payments to 1% for eligible home buyers with ONE+. Because everyone deserves their shot at the American dream. Call 800-4ROCKET or visit rocket.com to get a head start on your starter home.
Rocket Mortgage, LLC, licensed in all 50 states, NMLSconsumeraccess.org, number 3030.
When your car is making a strange noise, no matter what it is, you can't just pretend it's not happening.
That's an interesting sound.
It's like your mental health. If you're struggling and feeling overwhelmed, it's important to do something about it. It can be as simple as talking to someone in your community, or just taking a deep, calming breath when you need it. Nice. For mental health resources, check out loveyourmindtoday.org. At loveyourmindtoday.org, you'll find information that may help you get through a tough time. Things like tips for dealing with stress, how to navigate difficulties like financial worries, anger, substance use, and more. You can also find real stories of how people navigated their own mental health challenges. Because once you start to address the problem, you can go so much further. Visit loveyourmindtoday.org. That's loveyourmindtoday.org. Brought to you by the Huntsman Mental Health Institute and the Ad Council.
If I could be you,
And you could be me for just 1 hour.
If you could find a way
To get inside each other's mind.
walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
We've all felt left out, and for some, that feeling lasts more than a moment. We can change that. Learn how at belongingbeginswithus.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Walk a mile in my shoes.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies. Because when people are fed, futures are nourished. And with your help, together we can end hunger. Join the movement at feedingamerica.org/actnow. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
The following is made possible by Dad.
Why was the basketball court all wet? Because the players kept dribbling all over it.
The dad joke. Corny, groan-worthy, but also one of the simplest ways to share a moment with your kids.
Why do you have to be careful when it's raining cats and dogs? Because you might step in a poodle.
And kids that spend more time with their dads grow up to be smarter, more successful.
Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding.
And, with any luck, funnier adults.
Why didn't the skeleton go to the dance? Because he didn't have any body to go with.
Dad jokes rule. So take a moment to make a moment and give your kid a laugh. It's as easy as going to fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
That's really funny.
Fish on. Now back to Hook, Line, and Sinker on the Jock.
Today's show brought to you by Borders Sporting Goods. Find them on US 60 in Ashland, Kentucky. Your home for Liberty Safes and your one-stop shop for all your hunting and fishing needs. Let Borders help you get outdoors. Find them online at bordersportinggoods.com. To round out the show today, I am talking on the line now with Aaron Finney, one of the club officers with the Mountain State Kayak Anglers. How you doing today, Aaron?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for taking the time to talk. I stumbled across the Mountain State Kayak Anglers Club on Facebook, and I thought, I fish off my kayak all the time, so figured I'd get in touch with you guys and welcome you onto the show to share what it's all about. What is the club? Where is it based? Let's learn about it.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it. And, if you've got the kayak already and you're already fishing off of it, we expect you to be out at an event this year. I mean, we want you to have you out and to enjoy and kind of introduce you to the community that we have. But, so we're based really kind of generically just out of West Virginia. We fish all over the state. The club is actually one of the earlier adopters in kayak fishing clubs. It's about I think 11 or 12 years old now.
Oh, wow.
Was actually founded by a couple guys in the Huntington area, Ben and Jeremy Smith. And then a couple of years ago, they've kind of stepped away from work, and it's ran by 5 guys that call all over West Virginia, and even one guy from Ohio. And basically, we're just a kayak fishing club. We fish one event a month from April through September, and then we have a kind of a championship event in October that you have to qualify for to finish off. And we just enjoy getting together and making a bunch of friends and having fun fishing. It's kind of a relaxed environment, but we have a blast doing it.
Okay, so one event per month, and you have to qualify for that final. How do you qualify?
Yeah, so we do have each event obviously has its own prizes and everything like that, and then you earn points every event that you're able to fish, and we just take the top 12 from our Angler of the Year standings, and those people get invited to an event. There used to be a couple more clubs in the state. Those clubs don't exist anymore, but we call it the Best of the Best Championship. And so even some members from their club, we invited their top 12 to join us as well. This year it'll be only us, but nobody else knows where this event will be, and they won't know where it's at until about a week before. So it's kind of a surprise, and they really don't do a whole lot of pre-fishing. because I don't know where it's at. And so it keeps a level playing field. And so we have a great Angler of the Year package and prizes and awesome sponsors that help with that. And then we have a completely separate prize pack for that one championship event in a very much smaller scale. It's kind of like our Bassmaster Classic, if you will.
Okay, and bass is the target species on this. We're not fishing cod or perch or crappie.
No, it's all bass fishing, largemouth, smallmouth, spots, anything. If you're turning in a rock bass, it's probably not a good day.
Gotcha.
But I guess we count those too.
I got you. So talking about these events, these fishing tournaments, do you have to be a club member to participate?
Yes. So we have a club membership that you get into. Now, we've got a lot of sponsors, and there's a lot of different discount codes and stuff like that you get. And so whenever you join up, they are member events. Right now, we have 103 members in our club for 2025. That number will actually trend up a little bit as the year goes along too. Mm-hmm. But we have each event. We also do door prizes at every event. Every event's a little bit different. We can go into that here in a little bit if you want, but we typically have one kind of title sponsor for each event, and we give away a really, really good prize at each event. So everybody, whether or not you're like, man, I can't compete with some of those guys, doesn't matter. It's just a chance to go out, gives you a day it's dedicated to fishing. You get to meet new people, maybe win a prize or two, and just have a lot of fun. Okay, so when and where is the next event? Yeah, so June 7th is the next event. It's on the Greenbrier River. So in our opinion, that's my opinion at least, if you're only fishing West Virginia from a regular bass boat, you're missing the most beautiful places in West Virginia. The Greenbrier River is top notch. We go to different places like the New and South Branch and stuff like that too. But June 7th on the Greenbrier River is the next event. It's your best 4 fish. We measure everything off length. Keep your best 4. We have an app that we upload everything to where all the fish are judged and the rules are all explained out to you in a little greater detail there. But it's a great event. You can fish anywhere from where it starts all the way down to Hinton where it enters into the New River. Perfect. And so you say you measure everything off length. Is that for all the tournaments, or is that just this one with the Greenbrier River? Yeah, so that's every tournament. What we do is called a catch photo release. And so we catch the fish. We have an identifier that we release basically after dark the day before. So we have normally a 3 or 4 digit identifier. That number has to be in your picture. We have standardized boards that kind of common in the kayak community that you get. You measure the fish. You release them right then. So the fish aren't rehomed. They're not moved anywhere. They're not harmed or anything. Just catch the fish, take a good picture, release it back where it is, and you upload your picture. We have GPS coordinates so we know where the picture was taken, so we know we're within boundaries and things, and that's the way it is for every event. The only one that we do different, and we started it last year, it's been really big. One of our biggest sponsors is Marietta Adventure Company over in Marietta, Ohio. Mm-hmm. In our last event, we actually count every fish that you catch as long as it's over 14 inches. So it's kind of an unlimited stringer, but it has to be a 14-inch minimum. And so that's all within a 50-mile radius of Marietta Adventure Company. So you got great lakes like the Jackson County lakes, from the Clinic Ponds to North Bend to even over in Ohio to the Appalachian Hills wildlife area. Mm-hmm. Some really, really cool fisheries. And it's just a little bit different challenge. But other than that one, every other one is our best 4 fish, all based off length. Okay, and weight doesn't play a factor. It only plays a factor whenever I get winded trying to put my kayak out of the water, but that's my weight, not the fish's weight. So no, we don't care how much the fish weighs. I feel you. I'm right there with you. Speaking of kayaks, of course, this is the Kayak Anglers Club. Yeah. Do you have anybody, do you all have stipulations? Does it have to be a kayak? Could someone with a canoe want to participate? What's the guidelines look like on that? Yeah, typically it's something that's marketed as a kayak. I guess if you really, to be honest with you, I'm just not 100% sure in whether or not a kayak or a canoe would count. We don't allow John boats or anything like that. It has to be kind of branded as a kayak.
Okay, so at the very least, we're going to say self-propelled.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say that.
Oh, okay.
So we do allow some motors on the kayaks as well.
Okay.
We have. Yeah, so I myself, I have a New Canoe Unlimited. I love that kayak. And then I have a motor that's mounted to the back of my kayak with batteries. And so, I can run upriver a little bit. There are some that offer pedal drives and things.
Yeah.
But those motors are for kayaks. There have to be electric motors. You can't strap a 9.9 to the back of your kayak and head up the lake somewhere. Kind of has to be approved for that, which we have kind of guidelines. But Torqeedo is a huge name in the kayak world, and they're a sponsor of ours. And I don't want to give anything too much away, but there will be some amazing prizes given out throughout the year, including some from Torqeedo and some from other places. But yeah, you can get a motor and help utilize it too.
Awesome. Well, and you talk about, the prizes, the prizes with the tournaments and the sponsorships and the discounts. It really sounds like it's beneficial. If you're kayak fishing in West Virginia already, it's beneficial to join the club because you have access to these discounts, you have access to these tournaments, and you have access to possibly winning some really, really great prizes.
Oh, absolutely. Fishing online is an incredible a retailer based out of Pennsylvania. They've been sponsoring our club for years. I can't remember even when they started. It's been a long time. They have a discount for us. Our next event at the Greenbrier River. Park Center Sporting Goods, which is in Raynell, West Virginia. We're having our check-in, kind of our weigh-in there. They're giving away a $250 gift card for their store. There's so much that's available. We're going to be giving away 2 different kayaks this year. And like I said, a motor. There's a bunch of things that's going on. And really, here's the deal. Some people are going to fish these tournaments and they may never cash a check. Because if you win, obviously you get cash money. Like all the payoffs end up going back to the anglers, and we have big bass prizes and things like that too. But honestly, some of my best friends I have met through kayak fishing. It's just a great community, and we try to press that too, to where it's just more than just the fishing, if that makes sense.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It's about the community. It's about the getting to know each other and networking and making friends. And honestly, the same thing that this show is really about, which is the betterment of fishing in general throughout Appalachia. Yep. I talk about it all the time. West Virginia has some of the best natural resources of this part of the country. We have beautiful, beautiful places. Excuse me. And we have some really fantastic fishing. I think there's been 6 state records broke so far this year. So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. There was a catfish, bass, crappie, and a couple others. So yeah, it's been a very good year for fishing in West Virginia, and groups like yours, like this, you all really help to promote the sport. One thing I wanted to ask, if someone wants to become a member, like you'd mentioned early on in the interview, you expect to see me out there because I have a kayak and I fish from it. So, and I very well might. So if I wanted to become a member, if someone else wants to become a member, how do they do it? And are there any dues associated?
Yeah, so we do have a small membership fee. I think it's $35. I'll be honest. We have a president. His name is Coy Lehman. He does a fantastic job. He handles a lot of the admin stuff for us. But if you reach out to us on Facebook, a good majority of what we do is based through Facebook. You can find out information as far as how to get your membership. Just send the group a message. Either Coy or myself will respond to you almost immediately, and and we'll take care of it, make sure that you understand everything. We do also have a show, like a Facebook Live show that we do before every tournament, typically the week before, that we call Tourney Tales. And Brian McClung and I, we do this Facebook Live. We go over the boundaries of the event, any specific rules. We've had a lot of new members this year, so we go over just kind of basics and fundamentals. And so we do that before every event, so you have a chance to ask any questions, to know what equipment you might need, and all of that. So, we'd love to have you come out. If you have some questions, just reach out to us on Facebook, and we'll be more than happy to lead you in the right way.
Awesome. And that's Mountain State Kayak Anglers on Facebook. And I got to say, doing the show before each tournament, that's brilliant. I mean, that's a fantastic idea because, like you said, it answers any questions. It gets all the rules for that particular tournament out. That's a really great idea. I wanted to ask also. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was going to say, it gives us a chance to kind of highlight our awesome sponsors and to give those people an idea of kind of what they're going to be able to get a chance to win. And so encouraging people to come out and be with us.
Right. Well, what I wanted to ask, of course, we talked about membership dues. You said you believe they're $35. Now, does each tournament have its own entry fee as well, or is that built into your membership?
Nope, tournament entry fees are $40. That includes big bass prize as well. So we always pay out at least the top 5 places. If we have more than 50 people fishing the event, we'll pay out the top 10. But that's, you get a chance to earn trophies. We have awesome kind of wood burned, for the lack of a better word.
Yeah.
We have a woodworking company that does all of our trophies. And so if you finish the top 5, you're going to get a trophy. If you catch the biggest bass, you're going to get a trophy. And everybody gets that cash payout. So, it's not, it gives us enough to go and to be able to win, and you get something fairly substantial. It's going to at least pay for your gas and then some, maybe some new tackle, but hopefully it's not cost prohibitive to anybody either.
Well, no, I mean, just from hearing you talk about it, I mean, it sounds very enticing, actually. I mean, the registration fee, the membership due on the club sounds extremely reasonable. $40 per tournament, that's cheaper than any bass tournament you're going to do off of a bass boat. I mean, they're almost always a minimum of $100 registration for a 2-man boat. And then you have payouts for the top 5. A lot of them only have the top 2 or 3. And then, the chance at the prizes and you guys just, honestly, it sounds like a very good club to be a part of. I'm going to have to probably reach out and join.
Well, we can't wait to see them. We've kind of been down this road for several years, and we want it to be something where everybody feels welcome. Everybody's got that shot to come in and catch a big fish and cash a check, and we want it to be fun, and we hope everybody really enjoys it.
Awesome, Aaron, man. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk today. If folks want to get more information, you said Facebook is the best way. Is that right?
Yep, Facebook, the Mountain State Kayak Anglers, reach out, send us a message. If you want to go back and watch some of the old Tourney Tales videos, we've got a few that are up there that kind of explain the rules, and we're very upfront and honest about kind of the rules and how to play our game. But I'll tell you, we fish the best fisheries in West Virginia. We have some of the best people, and in the worst case scenario, you didn't put a dime of gas in your kayak. It's cheaper to haul a kayak than a boat, and I promise you'll never see more beautiful views than what you'll see in some of the waters we fish.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk today.
Hey, thanks for reaching out. It's been a pleasure.
A big thanks once again to Aaron Finney for joining the show today with the Mountain State Kayak Anglers. Again, find them on Facebook if you're interested in joining. A big thanks once again also to all of today's guests for taking the time to be a part of the show. And remember, we are now podcasting. We're on all your favorite podcast platforms. You can find us on Pandora, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube as well. So be sure to follow The Jock on Facebook and hit the subscribe button wherever you follow us. Thanks for listening, and until next weekend, I'll catch you later.
Miss part of today's show? Listen again and catch past shows on the podcast at WJYPAM.com and on the Jock mobile app. This has been Hook, Line, and Sinker with Cam Connors. Brought to you by Borders Sporting Goods. On the Jock.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies, because when people don't have to worry about where their next meal is coming from, they can truly thrive. Like Marta.
And now we'll hear from our class valedictorian, who with our hard work never ceases to amaze us. Please welcome Marta Moreno.
And Alex.
Hey, Alex, how did the interview go?
I did it! I got the job! I can't believe it!
I knew it. Let's meet up later to celebrate.
And Diego.
Mom! I got first place at the science fair with my volcano project.
That's amazing, sweetie. Congratulations.
Because when people are fed, futures are nourished, and everyone deserves to live a full life. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/actnow. feedingamerica.org/actnow. A public service announcement brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
The more you listen to your kids, the closer you'll be. So we asked kids, what do you want your parents to hear?
I feel sometimes that I'm not listened to. I would just want you to listen to me more often and evaluate situations with me and lead me towards success.
We're not adults, so just be there and listen. I just want someone to yap to. And I just feel like I'll be fine if someone just hears me talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk and talk.
You're doing a really good job. And I don't think I tell you that enough. And I know sometimes we get into it and it's just hard on both of us. But try to understand me more and I'll try to do the same.
Listening is a form of love. Find resources to help you support your kids and their emotional well-being at sounditouttogether.org. That's sounditouttogether.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and Pivotal.
Joe Buck and John Smoltz welcoming you back to the City Center Convenience Mart. Well, John, the stage is set for the final transaction.
That's right, Joe. Heather's moment has arrived, and you just hope all that training pays off.
Heather lays down her purchase, but Randy rings it up as slowly as he can.
He is a wily veteran.
It gives Heather's eyes the chance to wander. Uh-oh. Yep, she's looking at the cigarettes.
There's nothing good back there. Quit now, and in 5 years, your odds of getting certain cancers drop 50%.
Meanwhile, Randy's stone-faced. He's giving nothing away. He just stands there, wetting his cashier's finger on that sponge.
Heather toes the rubber.
Here we go. Heather's arm is in motion. But instead of pointing at the back wall, she just grabs the gum off the counter.
That's a slick move.
Heather back. She is out of there. Even Randy tips his cap to Heather. Stand Up to Cancer and Rally wants you to reduce your risk for cancer.
Go to takeahealthystand.org.
You said you'd never buy your kid candy from the checkout aisle. Or forget extra diapers. And never give in to a meltdown. You'd never lick your thumb to clean their face. Never let them have too much screen time. And never bribe them for just one more bite. You say you'd never let them out in public without their hair brushed. Never, ever become a minivan mom. And you'd never give them your phone for a quiet dinner.
Calling boss work phone.
So when you say you'd never leave your child in a hot car, no, it can happen. Cars get hot fast, and kids can be at risk in temperatures as low as 60 degrees Fahrenheit. Never happens. Before you leave the car, always stop, look, lock. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
As veterans, we're no strangers to helping others.
It's what we were taught, trained, and told to do.
It could be for anything. Helping a friend move.
Listening to a fellow veteran for hours, at any hour of the day.
Or just simply making time for people. A neighbor, a loved one, or even a stranger.
We're often the first to help others. There's no question about it.
But we do have one question for the veterans listening.
When was the last time you reached out for help?
Perhaps it's time to do for yourself what you would do for others.
If you or someone you know needs resources, whether it's for stress, finances, employment, or mental health, don't wait. Reach out.
Find more information at va.gov/reach. That's va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
Every person is entitled to 30 fundamental human rights, such as the right to public assembly, education, freedom of expression, right to privacy. And you only need to do one thing to enjoy all 30 of them. Know them. Get your free human rights booklet today. Go to humanrights.com.
Know your human rights, just know your human rights.
Courage. I learned it from my adoptive mom. Hold my hand?
You hold my hand.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care at adoptuskids.org. You can't imagine the reward. Brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Chris Domine is a husband, father, an athlete, even an Iron Man. But 10 years ago, Chris's kidneys were failing.
The doctor said if you don't get a kidney transplant, you are going to die.
Chris received a second chance, made possible by an organ donor.
Your well-being changes from loss of hope to better times ahead.
What could you make possible as an organ, eye, and tissue donor? Leave behind the gift of life. Go to organdonor.gov. U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Health Resources and Services Administration.
When your car is making a strange noise, no matter what it is, you can't just pretend it's not happening.
That's an interesting fact.
It's like your mental health. If you're struggling and feeling
Welcome
overwhelmed,
back to
it's
Countdown
important to do something
2
about it.
on the
It can be
BetMGM
as simple
Network,
as talking to
sponsored
someone in
by
your community,
BetMGM.
or just taking a deep, calming breath when you need it.
Countdown 2.
For mental
Is
health
on.
resources,
We are
check out
counting down
loveyourmindtoday.org.
the NBA
At loveyourmindtoday.org, you'll find
Finals.
information that may help you get through a tough
New York
time.
Knicks
Things like
tonight.
tips for dealing with
This is
stress, how to
BetMGM
navigate
Network.
difficult